What is going on, everybody, and welcome. My name is Chris, aka RumblePack92, and to joining me today, we have three sweet, supple young men: Jordan Deeb, Jim Tasty, and some other Josh. How the fuck are you three doing today?
So supply.
It's very supply and not as good as you because you're on cloud nine right now.
I'm so we are an hour after the Kansas City Chiefs just won the AFC Championship game, and I am flying high.
I don't know what any of that means.
And you're going to the Super Bowl, right?
We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, no, I'm flying. I'm gonna go. No, I'm not going to the Super Bowl. I have no money. I can't even buy
but
a
it's
hat.
in Vegas. That's where you make money.
I can't even
Yes,
buy a
sir.
championship hat, let alone go to the Super Bowl. You are watching the Shared Screens Media Club, the show where we come here and talk about, media, video games, TV shows, movies, whatever. If you think it, we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Before we get going, we just dropped a review for Tekken 8. Please go and check that out. It's a very, very good game. If you want to know what score I gave it, you're just going to have to go watch. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And Star Wars Bad Batch is on its way. The final season. If you haven't watched Bad Batch before, get off your ass and go watch it. It's an excellent show. What are you here for? Well, watch this first and then go and do that. Yeah,
Binge all of Bad
we're more
Batch,
important
please.
than that. But then do that and then come back. It'll take you. It's a long show. It'll take a couple weeks to get to, and then by that time, season 3 will have come out or starting, and then we can all party and have a good time. Today on the Shared Screens Media Club, we are talking about the loss. Just a really, really, really heavy subject. I just wanted rest in peace to physical media. It's going away. We're rapidly moving towards an all digital future, and it could be a good and bad thing. We're here to talk about that. We're currently at the time of recording hot off the heels of first off, Microsoft had a huge layoff, particularly in Activision Blizzard. 1,900 employees, and that happened right after we had a different media club talking about the unbelievable amount of layoffs in gaming over the last year, and the bad news just kept going. But then Jess Corden reported on Twitter that in addition to the ABK losses, Microsoft has also shut down departments dedicated to bringing Xbox games to physical retail. There have been some reports of leaks and stuff talking about them moving towards another all digital only console, but I mean, it's leaks. It's neither here nor there. It could be true, could not be, but we're rapidly moving towards just no more physical media in general. And I want to get you guys thoughts and feelings on that. Are you feeling all digital? Are you physical kind of people? Tell me about it.
I think, as for us here at Shared Screens, I've been I could be wrong, one of the more advocates for physical media, because as most of us, I think, have a digital PS5, but I made sure that I got a physical PS5. Part of that was I wanted to keep the PS4 games, but I still like the experience of like, oh my God, there's a new game comes out today, like going to the store to get it. Now, pre-downloads are great that you could just start a game at midnight and there is that convenience. But like, I also then think about the loss of game preservation that happens with that, because just off the top of my head, like, there are games that if they're only available on digital storefronts, the second they go away, they're gone forever. I know the game wasn't great, but like, there's no reason that over only 3 years after it came out that Marvel's Avengers is essentially non-existent. If you cannot find a disc of that game.
Hey, y'all are about to have a
but like,
stinky.
think about the precedent it sets.
Hold on. People are already being like, "Wow, at least Avengers had a good campaign before Suicide Squad's even out yet."
Yeah. So like, that's a big one for me. Is just like the games that are going to be lost when physical media goes. And then I also think about the fact that like not everybody has reliable internet when you talk not only just in the United States but across the globe. And then also there are people who do want video games for offline purposes. Like, the whole point of the Switch is traveling. There are people who like to bring their consoles with them when they travel, or some people might go, oh, I'm going somewhere without internet, but I could still bring stuff that uses electricity. And so like, there's an importance to physical media in a lot of ways.
There is also a really certain thing too. It's not just bad games like the Avengers that get pulled off of episodes, right? Like if a game has licensed music, like a lot of times, yeah, fuck you Avengers. A lot of times, like you look at the Scott Pilgrim game with licensed music, that music
Yep, or
license
like
went up.
GTA.
Couldn't get it. Yeah, GTA, Crazy Taxi. I remember was one of the first I remember hearing about that sort of thing.
And character
like
licenses.
it
Sonic,
just goes
Sonic
away.
3, Sonic 3 actually too. With the
Oh
Michael Jackson
yeah, because
soundtrack.
Michael Jackson, yeah, which is
Oh
nuts.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's like licenses for characters as well. I think one of the DuckTales games basically got taken off digital storefront. This is back like 2014, 2015, I'm thinking, maybe a little more recent. But like because whatever company had worked out the deal with Disney to those rights of the characters or the DuckTales names, like that fell through. I think all the like Activision BNOX Spider-Man games are like, if you don't have a physical copy of Shattered Dimensions, you cannot play Shattered Dimensions.
Wow.
Yeah. But like what? You're missing out on the 2 amazing Spider-Man games, tie-in games. Like we don't need those.
Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time.
That's true. I get that, and like I'm in agreement, and I understand that. But even nowadays, like you go pick up a disc, you take it home, you still have to do an like 80 gig download. Like
Yeah.
it's like a lot of times it's like what's even the point here? Like,
Most of the times it's basically just a license check, really. It's making sure that you own the thing and then you download the entire game anyway.
Exactly. And so it's like if I can just skip that entire travel out to the store, I'm gonna do it. And then if I can skip, I'm a lazy piece of shit. If I can skip getting up and actually swapping my discs, I'm gonna do that too. I've been all digital for I think like 8 years now. I love it. The last physical game I got was Spider-Man PS4, which came with my PS4 Pro. Like that's it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that like the convenience of digital is there, and I've started going digital more often lately just because of like, yeah, why the fuck am I gonna move my ass? But like also just to piggyback off the Spider-Man thing, the Spider-Man 2 collector's edition that I have back there comes with a steelbook, but is a downloadable code for the game. That steelbook has absolutely nothing in it.
No.
It's to put on your shelf, make it look
exactly.
Yeah.
And in 10 years, I'll go to the last GameStop ever, like the way they have that one Blockbuster in Alaska. I'll go there. They'll have a copy of Spider-Man 2. I'll buy it for 50 cents. I'll put the disc in it.
Brett, you strike me as a physical media kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't know like what percentage it is physical versus digital. It's definitely like not all physical. Like I downloaded a ton of stuff, and with Game Pass, I download. Yeah, so. But I think the biggest thing for me is like just like the horror stories of like man, this was a few years ago when like on Xbox when like when they did games with gold and they were giving the free games out every month. They had given away Dead Space like odd months ago, and then like it just randomly got deleted from like everybody's like hard drive. And they had to put out a press release of like, sorry, like it was like an error in like the server or whatever. I was like, bro, like they could click a button to do that too.
It was the inverse of a U2 album. They took something off of your product.
They stole it from me. And I couldn't get rid of that U2 album, dude. It wouldn't go away.
Fuck U2 for that.
I still hate them for it, dude. I know it wasn't their choice, but like I'm mad.
Everyone, like, I feel like so many people our age only know U2 because they're like, that fucking album ended up on my iPhone.
And so like I know with that, and then like rightly or wrongly, if you get banned or whatever from your account, like you're screwed. Like they just
that's your whole library gone.
Yeah, they'll just yank your licenses because you're getting a license with the disc too. But the big thing, because I don't even think Steam does this, is like you can sell that disc and get some value back either online or at a GameStop or something like that. And obviously that's more work, but like I've definitely at least a couple of times in my life have sold, a collection of games that I just didn't play at all that I knew like, cause I have to collect. So, but where I was like, I'm never going to play this game again, or whatever. It's just not my vibe. And getting a new game in the future, and you just can't do that on any digital platform, and they won't do that because the precedent's already that they're not going to that they don't do it now. So why would they change that?
Yeah.
I'm sort of in that similar spot to where it's like I'm not full digital. I do lean that way just mostly because I like to. I'm a day one games kind of guy. I like to be there
Sure.
like as it's coming out, and the ease of things like pre-install like before the game comes out, so that way midnight strikes the clock, they unlock it, and I'm
Yeah,
immediately there playing in the game because I've already have it
it's
downloaded.
insane.
I think is one of my favorite things.
It's
Um,
insane.
but you do run across the issues of things just not being there anymore. Like in a similar way, like Best Buy has ceased selling physical DVDs now at this point. I know we're talking primarily
Right.
video games, but like video games are gonna hit a point now as we're getting more into things like Game Pass and EA Play and these services to where you have a subscription and whatever their library is that's available are the games that you can play.
Hmm.
But like similar, like man, I really want to watch this movie. It's not on Netflix. Fuck, it's not on
Not
Hulu.
on
It's not on
any
Disney
streaming
Plus.
Yeah.
It's I can't find it. It's like I'm not gonna go pay $9 on Amazon to watch this one time again. Whereas like I don't see this movie on stream and I walk over to my DVD case. I'm like, here's my Blu-ray of it. Cool, I can
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
That goes away, especially with streaming services. Like Game Pass they have all of their first party stuff, but like everything else is kind of rotating on a time thing. It's like it's get in or get out, because then it's gone.
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of like with any like Netflix, it's the same thing. Like, oh, they used to be like, this is leaving at the end of the year, the end of
Yeah.
this month, and then the license renews in a year later, and it's back.
Yeah.
And like I was thinking today about this topic when we were going into it. I was like, it's funny how like quickly we all kind of accepted the loss of physical media when it came to music, but it's like there is a difference. I think part of it is because music is so much shorter than watching a show, let alone playing a
Mhm.
video game. Is you want all of it at the palm of your hands. Like I remember when I
Yeah.
was younger, like before Spotify was a thing, I wasn't buying music on iTunes because $1 a song's fucking expensive if you want a lot of songs. But it also like it'd be like a project to get the fucking go to LimeWire or YouTube to mp3.com and
Mhm.
back end it into your iPod or your iPhone.
The old
Like
Pirate Bay.
it was such a hassle that I used to not do it daily. Now, any song that pops into my head that I haven't heard in a decade on Spotify is there. But with physical
Yeah.
media, it's not only it's longer, it's the other things. It's the with movies particular, it's like DVD commentaries, deleted scenes, extra features, all that stuff. It's like,
It feels like special features for films and TV shows have gone away.
oh,
Right,
those are
like
completely gone away.
unless like Netflix or Disney Plus like makes a documentary about the making of this thing, like you just don't get that sort of stuff anymore.
And it's not even like just behind the scenes stuff. Like preface with fuck J.K. Rowling, but like the first 2 Harry Potter movies, I have them on like this special version that like there was 2 discs. One's just a movie and the other is just the special features.
Mhm.
And even
Mhm.
though it's a DVD, it runs almost like a game where they're like, go this way. Like there's like little like
Mhm.
mini games that like you could play in 2002 on DVD players. Like they're not
Yeah.
great
Something like
games,
that.
but like small stuff like that is like people really put their heart into designing those DVD menus, those behind the scenes stuff.
Mhm.
Have you
Things
seen
like
that project of this guy who went to design like early 2000s DVD menus for the Star Wars sequel films
Yes,
to
dude.
make
I love
them look like
those.
those? Yeah.
I love them so much. I think it's crazy that movies is seemingly losing all that shit. But I feel like gaming is just starting to get that. I mean, we like The
Mhm.
Last of Us Part 2 remastered just dropped, and there's full commentary in there. They're doing the grounded. They're doing the grounded documentary. Shout
Plus like
out No
unreleased
Clip.
levels and stuff too,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly
yeah.
that. Shout out No Clip, Danny O'Dwyer for insane video game documentaries on the behind the scenes of some of the biggest games ever. Like I feel like we're just starting to get that more with gaming.
It
And
does it does feel like there's this almost DIY. I don't think necessarily is the right word, but it feels a
Mhm.
little more like community driven to get that sort
Right.
of looks into what gaming
Yeah.
is right. Like Capcom actually had like a short documentary series like leading up to the release of Street Fighter 6, and they were detailing like
Mhm.
all of these things that they were doing in production and that sort of thing, and they just put that out on YouTube.
Yeah,
That's kind of where that
exactly.
lives.
yeah.
Yeah. You can
Um,
have that there, and then too, they're starting to you can get the collector's edition of a game now. Art
yeah.
book out the window too. They'll just give you here's all the art as well included. Like I have The Last of Us Part 2 art on my PS4,
Yeah,
because I got
digital art
Interesting.
book.
digital deluxe edition, and you can get the soundtrack. Like they're like
Mhm.
now just let's expand the package for digital users, and you get a hell of a whole lot more than if you were to just get a single disc.
It is an interesting look versus like you said, Jordan, like music streaming. But I think one of the main differences with music streaming is that with music, like the artist is not getting a lot of money per stream, but they are being compensated like per use, right? Like Bandai Namco isn't getting 10 cents every time I load up Tekken 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be insane.
They'd make so much money. Can you imagine?
When you worded that way, it's like that would be fucking insane. Could you?
Yeah.
If that's how they started doing revenue, and Spotify needs to pay their artists more, absolutely. But like the idea that when you load up a video game, they get a cut is fucking wild.
Man, Epic would just be making even more money. Epic would
Can
be
you imagine?
unstoppable. Dude, that'd be fucking insane. I think,
and that's an interesting thing for Fortnite. I don't think they're like physical copies exist. You can go and buy it at Walmart, but all it is a box with a code.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's not a disc.
Yeah. I thought there was a disc like way back in 2018, like
before Battle Royale, but
before
pre Battle Royale.
I'm sure people at Epic have discs of it. I think that's different.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I think,
but no, I don't know about Fortnite in particular, but I remember when I was at GameStop, it would be like kind of games that are like Fortnite. It's like, oh yeah, they're all free to play digital games, but like, oh, now there's this pass, so like now they make a physical copy. Like you're saying is like you don't buy Fortnite because Fortnite is free, but you buy like 20 V-Bucks and a code. But like
stuff comes with it if you go get it at Walmart.
And I think there were other games where it's like at a certain point, eventually a digital copy would come out. Or sorry, eventually a physical copy would come out after they added more stuff to it. So like, but like, yeah, you're getting that even less.
Oh yeah, and you like even now, like a lot of publishers aren't wanting to do it, and it's like left up to like limited run games for you to even like get anything. Like look at the Survivor, like
collector's edition,
anything
that
like
was
that.
But that is an interesting thing though, and I'm curious how you guys feel about that. I've always thought that limited run, I thought, at least for what you're getting, is more of a value than like the traditional. Like there was definitely a point in time, like if you look at like the 2010s, like all of these special edition games would come with this dumb like statue that you don't need, or something that's made of plastic that you're going to look at once and then it'll break, and like a little fold out poster, and it was $20 more. Whereas companies don't make a lot of those anymore, because I think the value in those just got less and less over time. But then limited run comes in, and it becomes almost like a niche thing, like for the people that do like that stuff and want those things and want more value for what they're getting. Like limited run exists without the companies having to kind of like dive as deep into it.
See, I like limited run for the indie developers that like do not have the budget for a manufacturing process of making discs.
Right.
I don't like the idea that the big players in the industry are now going to depend on limited run.
Yeah, like EA is going to give you a $500 lightsaber for Jedi Survivor, or a like $400 Isaac Clarke mask for fucking Dead Space remake. Like they're solely reliant upon limited run games.
That's
it's
wild.
Like,
that
you guys have FIFA
Star Wars game. It was not a direct sale of the collector's edition.
Yeah, but they are also the only ones making physical versions of digital only games. I believe Limited Run were the only ones to do a physical version of the Scott Pilgrim remake, right? Like, to kind of come back around to that. They're also the ones that did, just to be more relevant to like me and Brett, when all of like the old school Star Wars games were getting like re-releases on a modern console, Republic Commando, Knights of the Republic 1 and 2, and those sorts of things. All of those ran through Limited Run if you wanted a physical copy of the game, and they offered them on all platforms, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Part of it for me is also like in my setups, usually I like to have like all my games like in a on a shelf near everything. Like my setups change since, but like my original one, like I put several shelves in my wall, and like next to my PlayStation was all my games, like right next to it. And like I kind of like looking at it and being like, this is what I have. But like that's not the most important part, because again, I think it's about the fact that these things can be taken away and can go away. And like the physical stuff, like if I want something on the wall, I feel like, I could probably buy a third-party case, get a nice glossy paper, print out the cover art myself, and put it up there if I really want that. But it's like, something about it just feels like it's not fair, and that's what's like hard to put my finger on.
Yeah.
I think it's impossible to have this conversation too without talking about Nintendo in particular, because I think one of the biggest reasons that I think one of the biggest reasons Xbox is moving away from physical games in particular, because that's what generated all the headlines recently, right? Is one, they're trying to drive people to Game Pass, and like I get that that's Xbox game right now is like they want people on Game Pass, but then also too you do have to look at the manufacturing costs for physical media and that sort of thing, especially because a lot of times like those things, just in terms of I don't know if you want to call it resale value or whatever, but it's like if you're not selling a lot of them, then it's not making costs, and people aren't getting value if they try to sell them again later because other people aren't looking for physical games. And then you have Nintendo, who physical copies of their game not only never go down, they go up. The longer you wait to buy a Nintendo game, the more expensive it's going to be.
I literally for Christmas at Christmas time, I booted up my Switch for the longest time, and I was like, fuck, I don't know like what it is. I just have an itch to play one of the new Zelda games.
Yeah.
Go to the store. I'm like, okay, I can get $90 Zelda with Tears of the Kingdom, or I can get $80 Zelda with Breath of the Wild. What the fuck? It's this I know that I hate sequel, like people being like sequels are just more the same thing, but it's like, okay, it's a $10 difference here. Like guys,
it's crazy that it's a 6-year-old game and it hasn't depreciated at all.
Yes. Yeah. Versus Metroid Dread was down from 80 to 50, and I was like, you know what? That's a much better deal. Metroid Dread game of the year 2022.
Metroid Dread rolls too, so yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But like the Nintendo stuff, that's not a physical. In some ways, it's not a physical only issue, because like on the digital storefront, Breath of the Wild has also like never dropped. It becomes like after the games are being made, finding a physical copy of this discontinued game. Like I'm looking up at Chrono Trigger DS because that's one I know is crazy. I'm looking at eBay right now. Guess how much this game is?
180.
I was gonna say 120.
400.
This one is sealed, but it's $204.
Jesus.
Damn.
And then one that isn't sealed, but it's not even in a case. It's just the cart, $85. Just the cartridge. We're talking about an original DS game, not a 3DS game.
I think that also though speaks to the sort of like retro gaming like value boom
market
over lockdown. It just became 10 times more expensive post lockdown to get into retro games.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I hate calling DS retro, but it was 20 years ago now.
Oh yeah,
that's fair.
Nintendo did do 3D Mario Super All Stars, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
All 3 games, and they're like, hey, we're only gonna do it like it's only gonna be on store shelves for 3 months, whatever, 4 months, I think.
It was like after whatever date it won't. Yeah. You will not be able to purchase.
Yeah. You have till the end of like March 2021, and I bought it like March 27th. And I just never opened it and like had that shit sealed for 3 years.
I thought about doing that.
I sold it for $150 like 2 months ago. Like easy. Like I just doubled in value. Like the game.
But that's also a game that you cannot buy ever again. It's not digitally. It's not physically in stores. The only way you can buy it is resale because they completely wiped it off the market.
Yeah, and like 2 years after the fact.
Yeah, they didn't pull back any, like when a retail store had extra copies the day after it was supposed to stop being sold. It's not like Nintendo came in and went like, send these back, we're burning them. But it's like whatever they made is what they made. And I asked for it for Christmas because I wanted to play, but I was like, should I get this twice and just keep like a sealed copy? 10 years it pays off my mortgage.
Literally 2 years it doubled in value, and I was like, all right, 150, all right, enjoy the game, sucker. I'm not fucking playing it, you know.
On the inverse of things, though, because I think it is really easy to lament the things that we sort of lose with in a digital only future. But there are benefits to it as well. Despite like it's rotating selection, like library, and like, you know, a game comes off of Game Pass, you got to go either buy it or figure something out. But like the value of what Game Pass is insane. And I mean, it's like you're not there's nothing physical that's I think GameFly was kind of like the last thing to be like, hey, we'll mail you a game you get to rent for like a couple weeks and then you got to send it back. But like
Right.
with Game Pass, I have hundreds of games at my fingertips at any given point in time at all. The most of that I can play like through the cloud on my Steam Deck or my phone, you know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that's
I-
nuts.
Yeah. I think like the way to make it not like a scary future is honestly like going to have to be some sort of like legislation about like digital ownership rights of software.
Shout out
Which,
to,
like-
to Ubisoft being like, hey, gamers should get more comfortable with not owning digital games.
And yeah, that buying isn't owning, because like with like another game that I know that got taken off digital storefronts, and I don't know with why, it might be a licensing issue. It was the 2016 remaster of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2.
All right.
But what happened is like that one got taken off storefronts, but if you still bought it, like you still had access to it. But like
Yeah.
now it sounds like I don't know about PC, but at the very least with the console manufacturers, like no, they can legitimately remove the game off of your hard drive or your access to it. And like that is what becomes like, I think, a scary part with going all digital.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's not something you own anymore. That suddenly like the hundreds of dollars I poured into my Steam library like could just be ripped out of there, you know.
And that might
just because the company said no, you don't get to play this anymore.
And some sort of like digital ownership rights might be the one and only use for blockchain stuff in gaming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
like,
honestly,
unironically, like I heard a computer scientist say like the one thing he realized NFTs would be great for would be digital like tickets for like concerts or sporting events. Is like that's what an NFT should be.
Mhm.
Like the technology, not the meme-ified like I paid $600 for a fucking ape or whatever. Like
Monkey.
honestly, like if your digital copy of the game has some sort of number attaching it to you, that is I need to feel like what I'm buying is mine.
Yeah.
Is part of it.
that was an application I remember hearing to where it's like, imagine like, you know, you buy a skin in a game or whatever, and it's like it's this thing that shows you that yes, you purchased it, you owned it. Yeah, you know, it's not going to go in there. And then people started talking about it. It's like, imagine purchasing this NFT skin and you can use it in any game, and I was like, that doesn't exist.
That's not how that
Y'all
works.
are weird.
No.
I remember literally bookmarking a thread from Rami Ismail, who's a game developer, and he was like, in one game, like for example, like whatever your avatar in Fortnite is size, you move him into COD, he might be minuscule, and he might reach into the sun because like they're just scaled differently.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, different engines and all that too. But yeah, like no, go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
I was gonna move it on to a different portion, a different thing that's just lost in the day of like the death of physical media. We talked about preloading a game and playing it right as it drops, like fucking 10 p.m. now. And like you sit there, you watch the countdown timer, and there's nothing better than that just lock going up, and you're just able to play. But we have lost midnight releases. We're all old gamers here. Let's talk about some midnight releases. I'm pretty sure, you know, big part of us growing up.
They were
Midnight
events,
release
man.
stories. Yeah.
What's the last midnight release you went to?
Oh, and I think Uncharted 4.
See, I didn't go to a lot of midnight releases because my parents weren't about to be like, oh yeah, no, you could go out like, because I remember a bunch of my friends went and got the midnight release of GTA 5 and they came into first period physics the next day all tired because they played the first couple. My parents weren't gonna fucking let me do that. No, after school they were like, you can go pick up the game. But for me, midnight releases are funny where my biggest memories with them are working them when I worked at GameStop.
Right.
Like, after my like, oh, you're gonna sit in the back in the manager's computer and do like the little what do you call it, retail training. Like my first real shift was the midnight release of Madden 15.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then there was the midnight release for COD that year where we got the all the Mountain Dew gamer flavors and we put them out for customers, but we also had some behind the counter. So like anytime we felt tired, we just chugged a Mountain Dew.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I think my last it wasn't midnight. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 did a 10 p.m. release, but I did go to GameStop and buy that physically. I think my last midnight release was Destiny 2. And it hit the GameStop there, and like they just don't happen anymore because like 90% of people aren't buying discs day one. You know.
Well, part of it was also because the ending of the midnight release actually started when I was working at GameStop, like 2015, 2016-ish. And a
Mhm.
lot of it was workers coming out being like, we don't
Like, this
wanna,
sucks.
like
Yeah.
this sucks. And so
Yeah.
basically the workers kind of bullied the companies into being like, we are going to hand your game out at 9 p.m.
Mhm.
And that's why system locks became not system locks, but like the system knows what time the game's supposed to be
Right.
allowed to play, even with physical stuff now,
Mhm.
which I guess is still
Right.
scary because I guess if a game licensing issue has, can they lock the
Yeah.
game even physically? At
Just lock
that
it back
point,
up.
we're just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Brett, what was your last midnight release there?
Oh man, I want to say just off the top of my head, I think it's Uncharted 4 also,
Ooh.
Nice.
but it wasn't like too hype because it was like a
Mhm.
small or like GameStop, so there's
Yeah.
like a couple of us.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order, there was a couple people too, but like the last hype ones I remember were like the 360 era, so like Black Ops
Yes.
2 and Halo
Yes.
4.
Yeah,
and
the big
a
ones
lot of
were
stuff
were,
like
were
that.
360. Halo 4, in fact, I was at this. It was like a GameStop in like a strip mall. We had a Walmart next to us, and so like
Mhm.
everyone, everyone, it was just this huge line outside, and we'd all we'd go in waves to go like buy like Doritos and Game Fuel and come back, and we're like everyone's like
Mhm.
passing them out in the crowd and stuff. Like everyone's got your 3DS out, and we're street passing and shit. Like it's. I'm a little sad to have lost that because you'd get like cool GameStops and or wherever that would be like, hey, this new Call of Duty is coming out. We have the previous Call of Duty out in the stand. We're running a little tournament before the game comes out.
Yeah.
Come in. And, like, it was an event. Like every
We
time
did that,
a
yeah.
huge game come out.
In that Madden release I talked about is actually it was the new Madden that was being played outside. Like while people
Cool.
were outside waiting for their tournament, they
Damn.
were like, hey, here's a copy. And like, I'm not saying that that the loss of midnight releases were like the downfall sole
Mhm.
reason for GameStop, but like there was also like, oh, this is a great chance because people while they're here probably are gonna pre-order other games because these are the type of people who have proven they enjoy pre-ordering. They'll pick up
Yeah.
other stuff as well. If multiple games were dropping at the same night, it'd be like a 50-50, or you'd get the person who like did pre-order both games.
Yeah. Yeah. When it came to like multiple games being released like same day and them doing like midnight releases for them, I was in the Diablo 3 midnight release line. Only motherfucker there waiting to pick up Max Payne 3. Same day.
Yeah.
I'm just here for I'm just here for Max Payne. I could give less of a fuck about Diablo.
Yeah, let's go.
Imagine the energy of a midnight release the night before Mario Wonder and Spider-Man 2.
Dude, that'd be insane.
I don't remember whether it was Sun and Moon or X and Y. There was a Pokemon game that was coming out with something else big that was happening, and it was like me and one other person in this huge line, like here for this Pokemon game. Like everyone else was getting something different.
Yeah.
X and Y also came out with the 2DS, so people who didn't care about Pokemon but cared about Nintendo consoles also.
Right.
I want to say it was Sun and Moon. I don't remember what other game was coming out. And then the last big thing I'm going to touch on before we take off is just the convenience like for having like a large digital library available is really, really nice, because if I sit down at my Xbox and decide, you know what, I do want to go play Resident Evil 2. Oh, look, it's on Game Pass. I can download that right now and immediately start playing. And then a buddy of mine is like, man, I want to play Resident Evil 2, but I don't have Game Pass. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't lend you my game. You know, it's like if a buddy of mine wanted to play this copy of Smash Brothers that I have here, I could just walk over there, give it to him, and be like, here's a copy of Smash Brothers. You can go ahead and play this. Can't do that digitally.
There's no lending, yeah.
Yeah, literally that meme of like PS4.
Here's how you share games on PlayStation.
Like, here's how you share games, and they just hand
the other person.
You know,
it's gone.
Good luck with that.
Now, if you want to try and share a digital copy, you gotta like rip it off the console, like do some illegal shit.
Yeah.
You give your friend your login, and then they give you yours.
Theirs,
and then you gotta make your.
You invite your friend over and you have fun together and you check the game out at their place, you know.
Fuck
I don't want to see them.
The real physicality was the friends we made along the way, you know what I mean?
It's just me punching my friend in the face like, get the fuck out of my house.
One thing is, if the companies are going to start like making, these are all digital consoles, it's an all digital future, then they're as long as the consoles are backwards compatible. Well, even if not,
Yeah.
there needs to
think that's
legitimately
good.
be a way then for me to trade in my physical copy for a digital code.
Yeah.
Because there
Yeah.
are a few games on the Switch where I'm like, I don't know why I got this physical. Now I kind of do wish I got this digital just to play it without having to go and swap it out, because the Switch is, that's the whole point of convenience. But straight up, if the next generation of consoles come out and there's only digital options, I need to be able to go up to PlayStation and be like, here are all the physical games from my PS4 and 5. Please give me digital codes for each of them.
Yeah, like I own this game, let me play it. I've purchased it in the past.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah.
like,
Didn't
sure,
Sony do that before with like no, they didn't with like the PSP Go or something. Has anybody ever done that before? I feel
I
like
don't think
maybe
so.
I don't think
Not
so.
not up to not to my knowledge, potentially.
Or you know what I'm thinking of? It was like, and shout out to EA for doing this, like with Fallen Order, I think. Something with like the PS4 to PS5 upgrade or something like that.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
like
yeah.
if you had a physical copy that you could still do it, you had to like mail it in though or something like that.
Yeah, they had like a digital upgrade version. Like I think it was to get like a PS5 copy, like digital copy of
if you had a physical
Fallen Order,
copy of
if you
Fallen
had a
Order.
physical one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like like that.
But
legitimately
that was
needs to
still
be-
just like a console jump thing. It's not like, hey, like I guess that is
Yeah.
the same situation. I'm talking out my ass.
But
we-
but it's. I get what you're saying. Where these people, I guess, could have. Oh yeah, I guess just like, why wouldn't it be you put the PS4 version in, but you play the PS5 version?
What if they have a digital on console?
I mean, you can do that.
Oh,
You can. I think you
okay.
can do that though.
Well,
Yeah, they've done that for other
the way backwards compatibility works on modern consoles with physical ones, and if you have like a Series X or a disc PS5, again, it's checking it the same way that it does modern ones. Like I actually was playing my copy of Knights of the Republic on Xbox a few months back, and I still own a physical disc of it. I put it in, and all it's doing is checking that you had. I still had to download the game and then play it.
Right.
I was still playing a digital copy of the game.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
yeah,
so,
it's just we just got to figure something out there.
Do we think like the next systems are going to have no disk drives? Because
That's
like,
the rumor for Xbox.
Already with Xbox, there's rumors of the Series X with no disk drive, which again, like Sony's already doing that, but like PS6, like no
They
disk
just
drive,
eliminated
or
no disk drive version.
Or would they sell like a add-on that you have to buy like an extra $100 or something?
I think it's
I can
for
see
the
the add-on.
PS6. I think it's the add-on. I think like they sell so many accessories with the consoles now. Like you have to buy the stand separate now. You can't just fucking stand your PS5
The newer
up
stand,
straight.
yeah, it's like
you have to
separate.
buy the new stand. So I think we'll get one more generation of these companies selling like the detachable disk drive, and then PS7, Xbox, YZ, whatever the fuck. That's where it's like, all right, it's just all digital. Like, good luck,
with
right?
Sony, I'm being legitimate here. I wonder if they're slower to accept the death of physical media because they still sell like Blu-ray players.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it is
they're
their
in
technology.
the TV market. Yeah.
Mhm.
So like I can see them being like slower to
potentially.
The last one. Yeah.
Yeah. For Chris and Josh, because you guys, I guess, are the more digital two of the four of us here. Are there some things that like you go out of your way to still get physical, or like every once in a while?
Nintendo games.
Okay. Like all Nintendo or anything specific?
Well, not even all Nintendo. Because I bought like Pokemon Violet digitally. I bought a couple of 3DS games, Pokemon games digitally. But I did when Zelda was coming out, I did go and get Tears of the Kingdom like physical, because it's such a meaty game. It's like I know this is one I'm going to come back to a long time. I want to make sure I own a copy. I can do this. Like it's there.
I ended up getting
Smash Brothers.
Tears of the Kingdom digital only because I ended up using the vouchers.
That's
The
super.
Nintendo vouchers. Yeah.
For me, like at least not game wise, nothing. But like, I got a copy of The Last Jedi, so I can get it signed by the Kind of Funny crew. For memes, right? Like that's the last thing. And then I'm big on, because like streaming services give so little to the artists, and I'm very like artist heavy when it comes to music. Like if the artist has their own shop and they're selling vinyls through their own means, I will 100%.
I have a lot of vinyl.
That. Like
I have a lot of vinyl, especially because when you get into the music side of things, like that's the like their merchandise is how bands make
where
money.
they're the touring,
And
merchandise, like all that stuff, and like
and
so
so
I'll get a
yeah,
CD.
I own a lot of vinyl.
Yeah,
And then yeah, it's like games. I'm weirdly still mostly digital outside of like
yeah,
very like small exceptions.
mhm,
Movies, I am in the process of trying to. I was all digital for a minute, and then
yeah,
that's been like movies and television are so fractured amongst all of these streaming services, and things come and go so quickly that I want to be
yeah,
able to have access to it and watch it when I like.
Yeah.
And then Best Buy was like, "Hey, we're not selling physical movies anymore." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, I need to jump on that."
yeah,
And so I've been working on that.
Yeah. With
That's what I've been
movies,
doing.
it's like I have like a decent amount from just like throughout the years, like before streaming was a thing, and as
Yeah.
we slowly made the change. In recent years, it's been like movies that I really like that for
yeah,
some reason are not even like, oh, not on this streaming service right now. Like are rarely or go on and off a lot of streaming services. Like
yeah.
I found a couple Blu-rays of that were like super cheap. Like I got accepted in the 2017 Power Rangers for $5 each.
Fuck
For
yeah,
me, it's just like
Yeah.
stuff I know I'm going to watch multiple times. I
yeah.
want to own it.
Accepted,
Except it's a great
underrated,
movie.
Except it's so fucking good,
underrated
man.
2000s comedy.
Ask
When
me
you
about my wiener.
When you talk about the goats, it never gets mentioned, and I think it should be at least
These-
mentioned.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
I have my
Generally,
South Park
every
Institute of
time
technology shirt.
my wife and I have been doing a little a few about almost a year ago now. My wife and I have been we're house hunting for a bit, and then the market's so bad we were like, we'll come back in a couple years. But as like every time I go to a house, I walk in, I'd be like, man, this kitchen is bitchin'. Like, I love that movie, dude. It's
The
so
one-
You
good.
want to lose your landlord relationship, bro? It's a key part of everybody's daily life. For me with physical, I automatically get every first party game from any.
Okay.
So Sony, even Xbox, which is with
Well, I was
with
about to say,
Xbox.
for Starfield, the biggest first party game that they put out last year, wasn't there no physical version?
No, there was. But with Hellblade 2, when they did the direct a few weeks ago, they like did a press release after and they were like, yeah, it's digital only. And that's
Oh,
before
yeah.
like the news broke that they were going.
I think
Like,
I think
that
Prince
they
of Persia
fire-
is the same way too. Right?
I still don't think they've like Prince of Persia is physical,
Oh, is it?
but it's like it's kind of hard to find. It's like not like
Yeah.
massively produced. But it's just interesting that like I don't think Xbox has fully come out yet with that yet, right? And so
no, not yet.
but I mean, if like Hellblade 2, like which is supposed to be one of their premier games, is like not coming. But like you said, Jordan, they might, at least for this generation, they might do that thing where like Alan Wake is gonna do it. I think Baldur's Gate did it where they like put it out digitally and then 6 months later they're like
later.
Yeah.
and then they get the double dippers who like love that game.
Right.
But for like go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say for Xbox catalog though, like 100%, I think like Microsoft is a fucking billion-dollar corporation. If they have to, I would take like limited run games. Like fucking like give me a collector's edition of Indiana Jones with a real whip and a hat. You know,
Valued
like,
as $1 trillion company recently, actually. By the way,
Jesus
I-
fucking Christ.
Just 1 trillion, or
employees.
was it?
it's multi. I believe it was 3.
It was like 3 trillion.
yeah.
Yeah.
But or like Halo Infinite 2, give me a collector's edition through limited run games with a helmet. You know, that's all I
Give me
need
the
from-
helmet,
from
dude.
Xbox. Yes.
I can't believe they fucking cock blocked us with the Halo 3 one back in the day. You can't put
3
it on.
trillion.
Give me a wearable
3
helmet.
trillion.
Yeah, 3 trillion.
Microsoft
Jesus.
hits 3 trillion
Fucking-
market
They
value.
shouldn't
second
need to go to a
Apple.
third party for physical
No,
game
no, they
manufacturers.
shouldn't.
by
They
the
also
way.
shouldn't lay off 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, this has been the Shared Screens Media Club. How do you feel about the potential death in the next few years of physical media? Please let us know in the comments below. It really, really helps us as we are trying on our way, the climb to monetization. We really appreciate y'all being here. Go watch our other stuff, please. We'll see you again real soon.